Obi Wan Kenobi, the upcoming TV show from Disney Plus, is scheduled to drop at the end of May this year and is set 10 years after the events of Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith from 2005. Ewan McGregor stars as the titular hero, but some of the character's best adventures aren't actually from the movies. Today, we're talking about the stuff you must see before the new Obi Wan Kenobi TV show. Stay tuned. Let's discuss where the character has appeared before, first and foremost. Of course, the Star Wars movies aren't the only place where Obi Wan Kenobi has turned up before, and before his highly anticipated return to our screens later this year, he was chopping it up in Star Wars Clone Wars, an animated series based on the original Star Wars characters. Obi-Wan was a main character in the show, which ran from 2008 to 2014, but a lot of people instantly dismissed the show as a kid's cartoon. It returned for a final season in 2020, but it was only really then that it was appreciated for what it was. The stories are superbly written, and some have said they even stand up to the Star Wars movies, which is some praise. So today, we will be outlining the essential Obi-Wan Kenobi animated adventures before his solo series drops, so don't go anywhere. First up, we're talking about the Mandalore plot, so stay tuned. The Mandalore plot is an episode from the second season and is the first episode in a three-parter. The next two episodes are entitled Voyage of Temptation and Duchess of Mandalore, but it is the first episode for which the arc is remembered most fondly. It superbly introduces the Mandalorians and, of course, the Darksaber weapon, which appears later on in the Mandalorian TV show, which is also an important arc for our titular hero. This arc actually reveals how Obi-Wan Kenobi's connections with the Mandalorians goes deeper than we first thought, and although his rivalry with the rogue Mandalorians was already accepted and known about following his meetings with Jango and Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones, it is a much more thorough relationship than first thought. We come to learn that Duchess Satine Kryze, who is the leader of Mandalore, was actually romantically involved with Obi-Wan back in the day, and it was even suggested that he was on the brink of leaving the Jedi Order to ride off into the sunset with her at one point. Of course, this revelation gives viewers a more intimate look at the man behind the Jedi. Next, it's Deception. Stick around. Deception is an episode from Season 4, which, much like the Mandalore plot, is the first episode of a four-part series. The following episodes are Friends and Enemies, The Box, and Crisis on Naboo, but the first episode is the glorious best of the four. In what can only really be described as a cartoon version of the cheesy John Travolta-Nicolas Cage classic Face Off, Obi-Wan decides he must fake his own death, then go undercover as his own killer, Rako Hardeen, a mean bounty hunter. Obi-Wan comes across a ton of his old friends and foes before finally being hired to assassinate Chancellor Palpatine by Count Dooku. This one isn't the most essential episode, but it is an extremely fun ride that shows a different side of Obi-Wan, a side we would love to see more often. Have you seen Deception? Give us your thoughts on the episode below. Another Season 4 episode is up next. It's Revenge. Don't go anywhere. The Season 4 finale reintroduced Darth Maul to fans of the franchise after it was assumed he was dead after the events of the Phantom Menace. While most fans are well aware of the fact that Darth Maul survived his fight with Qui-Gon and our old friend Obi-Wan, it came as quite a shock when he turned up in the Clone Wars in the episode before Revenge. Of course, it turns out he was rescued by his brother, ironically in the episode entitled Brothers, Savage Opress, and following his rescue, he is ready to lay the smackdown on all who wronged him, and that means Obi-Wan. The battle between the pair was far better than we ever could have hoped, and it also gave us a deeper look into the character of Maul, who instantly became much more than the character we previously knew him as. This one set the scene for many more clashes between the pair of old nemeses, but none would be quite as epic as the battle we saw in Revenge. What did you guys make of this episode? Pretty cool, right? We're talking The Lawless next. Obi-Wan and Darth Maul again go to war in the opening episode of the 5th season, but Maul decides to take a bit of time off of attacking his old rival until The Lawless, which is nice of him. Later in the season, Maul develops a relationship with a who's who of the galaxy's most undesirable characters, including the Hutts, the Pikes, the Black Sun, and Death Watch. Also involved in the plot is Darth Maul's brother, Savage Opress, who previously saved him. He helps Maul launch his own bid for the control of Mandalore, but in The Lawless, Obi-Wan isn't messing around. He travels to Mandalore to rescue his ex, Duchess Satine, from the Sith Lord, but in the ultimate example of taking revenge, Maul murders Satine right in front of Obi-Wan, with his former lover slipping away from existence presence in his arms. However, Darth Maul's victory is short-lived. Darth Sidious stops by on Mandalore to teach the rogue Sith Lord a lesson, one which Obi Wan Kenobi would surely have liked to dish out himself. What do you guys think of this episode? Give us your thoughts below. Twin Suns is up next. Stay with us. Of course, the Lawless was the last time we saw Obi-Wan and Maul go to war in the Clone Wars, but not in the overall story. In Twin Suns, the Season 3 episode from Star Wars Rebels, which functioned as a sequel to the show Clone Wars, Maul is tracked to Tatooine by Ezra Bridger. Of course, Kenobi is more than willing to help stop his old foe. This battle is over very quickly, and it ends with Obi-Wan comforting his dying enemy, promising that the Chosen One will someday bring an end to Maul's overbearing master. Have you guys seen this one? So what do we know about when the upcoming series will drop? Let's see. Well, fear not, Star Wars fans. The show will be with us before you even know it. Releasing on Disney+, the highly anticipated show will premiere on May 27, 2022. It was originally set to be released a couple of days before to coincide with the release of A New Hope, but Ewan McGregor himself took to social media to announce that it would be pushed a couple of days. However, there is a little good news. It was revealed that the first 2 episodes of the series will drop together, before the third will be with us a couple of weeks later, and it is thought the show will run for 6 episodes, with the finale dropping at the end of June. And what about the plot? Let's see. Of course, we don't know the ins and outs of the plot just yet, but it is thought that the events of the upcoming show will follow Obi-Wan and baby Luke after they have traveled to Tatooine. Luke would live with his uncle until being tracked down by Maul, or at least that was the plan. The show will reportedly go into detail as to what happened in the story's canon in the years following Revenge of the Sith, and before the final battle with the menacing Darth Maul. It seems as though the show will take place around 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith, showing how the young Luke develops as one of the greatest Jedis the galaxy has ever seen. And finally, a word from one of the writers, so stay tuned. Apparently, the upcoming show will tell the story of what happened to Obi-Wan after Revenge of the Sith, but one writer has also given us a little more in the way of what else to expect from the show. During the events of the show, the new Galactic Empire will be in full swing as Darth Vader is on the hunt for Jedi, and show writer Joby Harold has explained how it will explore what's happening in the galaxy after Order 66, which killed the Jedi thanks to Emperor Palpatine. He went on to say, it takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, in a time of darkness in the galaxy. The Empire is in the ascendancy, and all the horrors that come with the Empire are being made manifest throughout the galaxy, and the Jedi Order, as we know them, are being all but wiped out. So everything that was in the prequels has crumbled. Are you guys looking forward to seeing Obi-Wan Kenobi? Let us know below. As always, thanks for dropping by, and remember to join us next time when we will be discussing more interesting bits and pieces. Also, why not do us a favor and like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Bye guys!